You may be wondering, what does the government shutdown mean when it comes to real estate? Whether you're buying a house, selling a house, how does it affect housing in the real estate market? Now, some of you are going to be like, well, that doesn't sound like a big deal. About 75% of the deals we're doing, it doesn't affect in any way. Buyers are buying, sellers are selling, banks are financing, title companies are closing. It's business as usual, super smooth. So with that said, about 25% of the market is being affected in my view. And most of it comes down to either government loans such as a USDA, an FHA, or a VA loan where you need the government in order to finalize the loan. Notice I said finalize. Most lenders are doing all the loan processing, getting the credit report, verification of income, verification of employment, ordering the appraisal. People think the appraisers are government employees. They are not. They're independent contractors that are approved to do government loans in most cases. So even that part of it is business as usual, but where it's tricky is for the final loan underwriting. In some cases, you need the government to approve. Like USDA is a great example. You need them to approve the loan to give their final blessing, so to speak, final underwriting. And if there's nobody in at USDA to do that, you can be all the way to the 5-yard line ready to make your goal, and you're stuck in your tracks waiting for the government to reopen. And we dealt with this on the last major government shutdown. And the thing that you need to be aware of is if they snap their fingers tomorrow and the government opens back up, your loan on USDA doesn't automatically go to the front of the line and get approved. You're going to see, like, people that submitted their loans for final review a month ago should be at the top of the list. So anything that came in 15 days ago, you got to wait for the first 15 days of those to process out before they're going to review your property. So if this takes 40 days and you get submitted on the 40th day, there's 40 days of processing ahead of you. So what does this mean? Well, this means if you have a government loan that needs the government to approve it, you're going to have a delay. So it doesn't mean your deal's not going to go if you've got a seller that's reasonable, that's willing to wait, they understand what happened, and the deal is still in agreement and everyone signs an extension to extend the terms of the closing for your final loan approval further out to give you time for the government to do what they need to do, then you're going to be fine. You're just going to have to change your closing date, change your moving date, and it's, like I said, it'll be business as usual. You just have to expect a delay. Now, a couple other things that people aren't talking about that I think they should be talking about is what if you're a government employee that was in the process of buying a house and we can't verify your income because there's no one in the government to verify your income? Well, even though you may not be getting a government loan, if we can't verify your income, that can be tricky. Now, a lot of times they can use previous pay stubs, things like that, in order to do it. But if you need to actually get a hold of somebody in the government and that department's closed, yeah, you're going to get bottlenecked and your transaction's probably going to get delayed. Here's one, though, that a lot of people I don't think are thinking about. There's lots of properties that are in designated flood zones. So, and I've got a friend that's Wayne Turner, who's outside of New Orleans, and he's got a ton of property in that area that's in the flood zone. So meaning you got to have flood insurance. Well, that could be tricky if someone's buying a property in that area and trying to close and they're trying to set up their flood insurance, or they're trying to get a property that they don't think should be in a flood zone. They're hiring a surveyor to shoot the elevation of the property because they want to get it removed from the flood zone so they don't have to pay flood insurance. Well, that could be tricky because you can hire the surveyor to get it done and prove it's not in the flood zone. And just because you proved it doesn't mean it's getting released. It's got to be sent to FEMA. They've got to sign off. And if FEMA's not in, it's not going to happen until they get back to work. And again, the thing to think about is since the government's been shut down more than 30 days, there's a 30-day backlog bare minimum that they've got to get to before they're going to see your request. So not gloom and doom, not affecting everyone. Like I said, 75% of the deals, business as usual. We've experienced a few minor delays, but we have not experienced what a lot of people are talking about across the country. I think there's a lot of people making a bigger deal out of the real estate side of this than actually exists. Now, if you're doing real estate next to a military base, yeah, I could see where that's a big part of their business. But here, I'm in Central Ohio, Knox County. Like I said, 75% of our deals are going super, super smooth. And like I said, it's mostly business as usual for the buyers and the sellers. I've been doing this a long time. I've been through government shutdowns before, so I know what to look for and know the questions to ask. That way, if I'm representing the seller and another realtor's representing the buyer, I'll let my client, the seller, know, hey, it's government shutdown, there could be a delay. Are we good granting them an extension for them to have more time to get what needs done? And in most cases, the sellers are super reasonable and are willing to work with them. But the sad thing is none of us really know how long this is going to last. Lots of people are saying, hey, we're getting towards the end. It's probably going to work itself out. But none of us really know. So we're just preparing and adjusting each day. So hopefully this helps. But no, the market didn't come to a screeching halt. Housing market still feels very robust. October was really a good month, and October was during the shutdown. And November so far as new pending sales for our area is doing just fine. So I'm Sam Miller, RE/MAX Starters Realty. Hopefully this helps. But no, the government shutdown did not destroy the housing market. And like I said, most of it's business as usual. So if you have questions, leave a comment down below. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.